What's going on, everybody? This is a little bit of a test here. I don't know if anyone was watching Heavy Metallurgy last night, but my visuals were dog shit. So I'm going live a little early to make sure that I look all right and that I sound okay. So far so good. Quick side note: can you hear this in the background? I'll turn it down a little bit. We are indeed jamming to some stoner doom, borderline funeral doom from Chicago, Illinois. This is Bonk Ripper with their 2017 album. Wait, no, 2013 album. I'm getting ahead of myself. 2013 album, Miserable. So it's awesome. It's like an hour long instrumental, and there's 3 tracks in total. They spell out endless descent into ruin. I don't think you can read that, but it is what it is. And we have currently started listening to the final song, Into Ruin, which is just 30 minutes of like dirge anthem. So yeah, cheers to anyone who's going to pop in at all. If you do join, let me know. I'm not expecting too much, but believe me, that is okay. This is not like a big to do or nothing like that. This is a very simple collection update, and honestly, it's a excuse and a reason to put something up on my channel. The Metal and Beer Snob channel has kind of been a little dead in the water for the past couple months. I've been busy. Life gets busy, and I just haven't had the chance to think of or record and upload anything. So it's easy to shoot something live and to put up a live recording versus doing all the editing and stuff. So sorry for my laziness, but the main focus of this video is the recent trip to Chicago I went on, thus the Chicago band Bong Ripper in the background. I went up there into September. It was actually a trip that was mainly for my wife. She had a conference up there, kind of on the outskirts of Chicago in a place called Highland Park, which right next to Lake Michigan, definitely in the richer uppitier side of the city. Tons of giant fucking houses. I stood right on the coast of Lake Michigan. You know, organic grocery stores, suburban SUVs. It was definitely not a city environment where we were staying at. But I went because I enjoy a good adventure and I like exploring around new cities. And this is my first time heading up to Chicago. And one of the main reasons I wanted to go was to meet up with some long YouTube friends, which I'm sure I'll be talking about them a lot more extensively. But real quick, shout outs to Chris Depeche Commode. The dude lives up there in Chicago, basically right outside of the downtown area, next to Wrigley's Field. The Cubs, not to be confused with the Bears. And then Brian Arkham, who is about 3 hours outside of the city. And finally, and probably the coolest person to make it work is Rick from the Dreadful Minutes, the Dreadful one. He flew down from Philly, where he lives, to pay us a visit. So it was awesome to finally meet up with these guys that I've basically been talking to and hanging out via YouTube and Instagram and whatever else for years. So I mean, I think I've known all all three of these guys by YouTube since probably 2021. And Chris, I actually knew from back when I lived in Charlotte. Him and I linked up probably back in like 2017 or 2018, I want to say. So it was good to finally see him again. But awesome to finally meet old friends and to go to the record stores and stuff that were in Chicago because it's kind of one of those big cities in the United States where everyone gets their own little slice of the pie. You know, there is a metalhead specific record store. There's a metalhead specific burger joint. There's all these different reasons that if you're a person who has hobbies that you'd want to go to Chicago. So I was excited to hit up basically the Chicago scene for all things metal and beer. And it did not disappoint, as I'm about to show you. So I'm not going to ramble too much since so far it appears to just be me hanging out, having a Pabst. But I do want to give a little bit of a story as I dive through, which, real quick, it's not just Pabst tonight. In honor of the Windy City, I grabbed the one and only beer I could find down here in New Orleans that is from there. And of course, it's from Goose Island, Hazy Beer Hug. It's not the most exciting beer or brewery, really, but you know what? It'll get the job done. And I'm not complaining. Yeah. So real quick about the beers up there. Of course, the main brewery that I was excited to try was Three Floyds. Like you can't get any Three Floyds down here at all, but up there it is in like every single grocery store. So I had uh, multiple brews from the most metal brewery in North America, and they did not disappoint. I had a real intense IPA by the name of. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Turbo Reaper. Badass fucking can art. I wish I had a picture to show you guys, but awesome stuff. And then, of course, there was plenty of Zombie Dust and Gumball Head and other Three Floyd staples. So I could not complain about the beer. And I'm just checking the audio real quick. It's different when it's only me, and I don't have someone else to tell me like, "Hey, you sound like shit." Yeah, it sounds all right. Cheers, to my one viewer. But yeah, so a little bit more backstory, kind of. Met up with the guys on the Friday that I was there, and Brian Arkham was nice enough to pick me up from where I was staying, my hotel, and we took a nice hour-long drive into the city. Was surprised how long it took to get anywhere. The traffic is crazy. I mean, we were not going down that early. It was like probably 9 to 10 o'clock when we kind of started heading down there. Actually, like 10 to 11, but still, it was very much crawling traffic. And I can never remember, or I can never forget looking at his Garmin and it said there was like 30 minutes to get to our destination, and we only had to go 6 miles. That's crazy. 30 minutes, 6 miles in 30 minutes. But we made it there. Met up with Chris originally while Rick was flying in, and it was awesome. Chris's place is like a total bachelor pad. I mean, check out any Depeche Mode video, and you can see it in the background. It's just walls of CDs and stuff, just like back there, except times two. And he actually has a very sick stereo system. It is a top-notch audiophile level equipment, and he will tell you as much. He's very proud of the setup that he's got going on over there. And the funny thing was, we walk in, he's playing Innumerable Forms, the latest Innumerable Forms, which is an awesome album. Um, Pain Effulgence, I believe, might be a year endless contender right there. And we got our first commenter, Rick. Cheers, my friend. We are going down memory lane again. You inspired me with your video that you did. So this is going to be the accompaniment from, I guess, my viewpoint. All good things, of course. But yeah, so we get to Chris's place, his bachelor pad, with the sickest stereo system ever, and thousands upon thousands of amazing sick metal CDs to choose from. And the first thing that we decide to play when we get there is 6 Feet Under's Haunted album. Some people could decry that. A waste of a good equipment setup, but you know what? It sounded pretty sick. It was like a bulldozing tank from hell. So agreed. So yeah, check out Haunted by 6 Feet Under. That album actually rips when it's on like a $2,000 stereo setup, in my opinion. No, but from there we met up with Rick finally at Kuma's Corner, which great spot. I do have some pictures actually. So for example, I guess I could show this sooner. This is that's his cat. There we go. That's Chris's CD collection. Look at that fucking thing. I'm filled with envy. Notice the bolt thrower poster on the wall. Pretty awesome. And then at Kuma's Corner, this was the first beer I had. I'm a sucker for pickle beers, so there was a Donna's pickle beer. But the thing I'm trying to actually highlight is in the background, you see the logos. You're immediately drawn to the metal logos and the records beneath the logos. This is the real deal. And those are representative of the burgers of the month. We got the Megadeth burger and the Morgue burger. Basically going head to head for top dog. I don't know how they do the competition, but it's cool to walk into a place and there's metal blaring over the stereo system and actual band logos you recognize on the wall and just sick records everywhere. Everyone is wearing a cool band shirt. Honestly, there's no place like it. And I think the food itself was really good. I could not complain. It's of course on the pricier side. Like you're going to be paying $20 to $25 for a meal, but look at this. This is my Macedon burger. We got there's bacon on there. There's the fried onions, like very crispy fried onions. Some mushrooms as well, and delicious fries. By the way, delicious fries. So for a one-off, I think it's definitely worth it. I will say I got to mention this, otherwise Chris is going to get me. The bun on this thing, it's you can only get it in this like really thick pretzel bun. It's a bit much. You're basically full within the first bite. It's like, why would you eat a pretzel on top of a burger? Where's just my classic white bread burger bun? You know, that's what I'm used to. It's more about the meat than the bread. But hey, I'm nitpicking. Really amazing food, uh, amazing atmosphere, as you can see. I think they were playing High on Fire, Yob, Amon Amarth. I mean, nothing like too deep, but hey, it's they still got to appeal to mass audiences. So from there, we went to Meteor Gym, which is only a brisk hike up, probably a quarter of a mile to 4/10 of a mile. It's so close, and believe me, you need the hike to work off the food that you just ate. So if anyone is visiting Chicago and going to Kuma's Corner, I really recommend that pairing of Kumas and then immediately to Meteor Gym. And my God, that place is awesome. Here's the logo. It's Mike, the owner, was there, and I guess he's always there. Yo, we got Dave Metal Overkill. Cheers, my friend. And Chris, the humble host of the whole event. Dude, I was just hyping up your stereo system and we played some ripping 6 feet under on it. And that's the wall of CDs you got. Respect. And out of all that, we picked 6 feet under. So we know what we're about. But no, Meteor Gym is awesome. Big shout out to Mike. He let us go buy some beers. Fucking awesome. Kind of a dangerous idea. He's doing it's all about greasing the palms with some alcohol so we can spend more money. And I think it worked. It worked on me. So we were drinking some gumball heads from Three Floyds and just shopping. Yep. And they had so much. I wish I had some more pictures of the collection that they had. But if you are a metalhead, you need to go there because no other store will you find designated boxes for black metal, death metal, metalcore, hardcore, doom metal, stoner, sludge. Like literally everything is separated out by genre. And you can quiz this guy about all of the releases, and I guarantee you, Mike will know basically everything. And if he doesn't, he will look it up and order it for you. I mean, this is a place for the biggest die-hard metal fan to go and spend a couple $100 for sure. Anything I can do, Dave. I'm a little bored. I'm actually home alone right now. The wife is out of town, so I guess I'm taking advantage of that and streaming and blasting some metal. So listening to Bong Ripper in the background, by the way, if anyone cares. But yeah, let me get into what I picked up at old Meteor Gym, and I am of course a cheap bastard. Unfortunately, it really is a curse until I have to pay the bills at the end of the month. Um, I was basically looking for the CDs and especially the used CDs, and he had not a huge selection of used CDs, probably 200, I would say, but there was enough like good albums and fire in there that I had a tough time narrowing it down to something that I actually wanted to pick. See, I should have bought that, Rick. Now I know. I should have picked it up. But so he priced all the UCDs at $5 a pop, and believe me, I appreciate that. One of the biggest gut punches from some local record stores recently. They're starting to use Discogs to price their CDs. I don't fucking get it. Like, come on, it's a used CD. I don't think you can do Discog pricing for a used CD. No offense, but thankfully, Mike at Meteor Gym did not. So, first thing I stumbled across was Enslaved Vertebrae, which this is fairly in the proggy Enslaved camp. So, if any of you guys are the classic black metal Enslaved, apologies. I've grown to enjoy both, but my first Enslaved was this era, and I think this was actually my first Enslaved album I ever heard. It was either this or Retir from 2012. So, hey, wait, now it's well, it's been a party, but now it's definitely a party. Cheers to you guys. I didn't know how it would do on a Thursday night, but 7 is pretty good. I'll take it. So, yeah, $5 for each one of these CDs I'm about to show. This was a big album for me when I was getting into black metal. Probably one of the first black metal albums I would pick. Of course, revisiting it for the first time in years, I was kinda blown away by how not black metal it sounds. This is very much a prog album, and it sounds like Pink Floyd throughout the majority of it. Like, it's very laid back and just atmospheric, but in that, like, psychedelic Animals kind of vibe, which I do dig. I've just slowly drifted away, I think, from appreciating that style over the years. Still, The Watcher is one of my favorite it's probably my favorite Enslaved song and one of my favorite, like, prog black metal tracks, period, so just being able to own that finally is a highlight. Ground is an awesome song as well, and, Clouds is a good opener, so good start for the night was finding Enslaved Vertebrae finally, and then this band just dropped an album, like, 2 weeks ago, Revocation, Teratogenesis, and, this is their EP from 2012, and I don't know if you can see the logo, but this is one of those Scion only EPs. Do you remember that funny crossover when a car company that basically sold boxes with wheels were releasing metal EPs? It was quite the time to be alive. I really enjoyed it a lot, and this is one of my favorite EPs that they released. 5 tracks, all blistering thrash with death metal over top and like some more interesting avant-garde influences. This was the Revocation era that I love. I hate to say it, they have kind of gone too death metal for me. Like I like the new album. What is it? New Gods, New Masters. But I don't love it. I can't get into maybe Dave Davidson singing death metal vocals doesn't do it for me. Um, I don't know, but I'm definitely here for the thrash revocation where they'll go into death metal parts at times, but then also the speed is there and this like technical wanky guitar is right up front, and they're not afraid to throw some bizarre shit in there. So yeah, yep. I've had some rough experiences recently with some Discogs people where I'm like, they want $30 for a CD. Get the fuck out of here, man. You know, close down your brick and mortar store. Just start posting shit online. Why even bother at that point? That Immolation CD, Rick, Providence, I believe, is my other favorite. I totally forgot about Gates of Slumber and Parsons, though. I know Red Fang and Corrosion of Conformity had one as well. So I think it folded, so it didn't really do that well, Chris, I believe, as a marketing concept. But man, cheers to you guys once again as we're cruising through here. Moving on to some grind. Full of hell. You can't really make out that cover that well, but this is Weeping Fire. So this is one of their Relapse albums from 2019, and I'm a big Full of Hell fan. Honestly, it's weird. Some of these bands are starting to get hate now, and I've seen people shit on Full of Hell recently, which I don't know if I fully understand, but I've always loved these guys. I started with them with Trumpeting Ecstasy, and this album, I like it, but to me, it's a step down from Trumpeting, mainly because it feels like they're trying to copy what Trumpeting did with small tweaks. You know, you can't just copy yourself from album to album. I think there's got to be some level of growth, and I didn't hear it, but Full of Hell definitely got there in recent years. For example, last year's Coagulated Bliss was absolutely a highlight for me. So, yeah, Weeping Choir. The Armory of Obsidian Glass is probably my favorite off of this one. And then South America, Prisian. Look at that. This is one of their more recent albums, Forged in Fury. I was not familiar with this album at all. In fact, I don't think I've heard anything new from Prisian since, I don't know, probably the Formless Venomous album, which was 2001, I think. So I just bought this on principle. It's a Crisian album. I kind of knew what I was gonna get, and I've only spun it once, so it's not one of the things that I've revisited a whole bunch. But dude, if you want blistering, like no hold barred, death metal, very drum focused and drum heavy, Crisian is not gonna do you wrong. And this album actually and absolutely delivers. Cool artwork. Kind of weird, but cool enough for a poster. And then the last CD I got from Meteor Gym, 3 Inches of Blood. Any of y'all remember these guys right here? Canadian band, playing very much a revived traditional heavy metal. Like these guys were probably slightly influential in that new wave of traditional heavy metal movement. And I still don't know if they've gotten the recognition that they deserve. Like they just reformed and have been playing some live shows recently, and I still don't know if people are paying homage to them like they, as I said, deserve. But this is their 2009 album. Here waits thy doom. Cool album cover. Uh, this actually was one of the lower reviewed albums on like the rating sites that I follow. So I was kind of surprised by that. They say that they went to like 70s heavy metal, but I don't know. To me, the dude's vocals on here is like screeching to the tops, and still fairly fast paced. And tracks like "Rockin' Hell," "Silent Killer," "Preacher's Daughter." I mean, it's heavy metal anthems for sure. Uh, Happy to finally have a 3 Inches of Blood album in my collection because they're just one of those like heavy metal, borderline power metal bands that I've always enjoyed. Now that's one of the albums that I need right there, Rick. Advanced and Vanquish. That's got Deadly Sinners on it, which is their like most well-known track. James coming in quite topical. Cheers, James. No, I was there a couple weeks before that whole that all went down, as I think you know. It's funny watching the aftermath of it all, though. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Cheers. Let's see. So from there onto an LP that I picked up at Meteor Gym. This is my one and only LP. As I said, I was being cheap this whole time. This is a split between two Chicago local bands. Wait for the names here. We got Coke Goat and Baron Air. Coke Goat, of course, wins my award for best band name. Cool album cover too. The split is called Sunshine and Tracing Light. And side note, my Bong Ripper CD just wrapped up, so I'm just gonna be switching out for something new. But yeah, hope everyone's doing all right on a Thursday night. Cheers for joining in for however long or little you guys want to. I'm hoping this will be like an hour. It might be a little bit longer, but shit happens. All right, heads up, I was gonna play. Here we go. All right. This will come up later in the stream, but I am now playing a band called Lava Goat. Going from Coke Goat to Lava Goat. So if there's one one theme I love about stoner doom or just metal bands in general, black metal as well, the use of goat. The more often Goat comes up as a band name, the better, I think. So, no, this is James knows his shit. This is the self-titled album from earlier 2012, I want to say. Yeah, Metal Kev. I hope he jumps in tonight. Metal Kev hooked me up. These guys are from Canada, I believe Saskatchewan. So we are here for Lava Goat. Maybe play Coke Goat next if we run out of steam with Lava Goat. Yeah, a metal drug mule, Wade. Yeah, Rick. Brian's got the hookup, my friend. But no, yeah. Speaking of Coke Goat, this is that split with Baron Air, and I just got to show off the vinyl color. Very cool sun splatter. Chris, run away, and also don't let Metal Nicky see that I got this. But I like some colored vinyl from time to time. Anyway, um, from there, so that was my haul at Meteor Gym. It was probably about $75, which is really not that bad for all the shit that I got. From there, we went right down the street because guess what? There's another fucking record store. This place is packed. This one is called Bucket of Blood, and it's not just a record store. It's actually a bookstore, I think, which mainly kind of is the main thing, and then it doubles as a record store. But there's also a bunch of movies and DVDs and stuff, and had a fun time looking at the horror movies as well while we were there. But yeah, this is the sticker from Bucket of Blood. I don't know if it's going to show it well. Ah, still a cool store. I didn't really get that much there as I thought I had spent that much. I already spent too much from Meteor Gym, so I was basically trying to keep it lean and mean. But I did pick up a copy of this album, which this is another thanks to Dreadful Rick. He talked about this. This is Dead to a Dying World with their album Elegy. Came out in 2019. This was one of his favorites from that year, and he's mentioned this a couple times, and it was. I knew it was up my alley, and after purchasing this and listening to this a couple times, it definitely is. I mean, I would call this post metal first and foremost, but at the same time, it's not afraid to be more organic. I know a lot of post metal from the past, like 5 to 10 years, really sounds a bit more modern, like kind of clean production, trying to sound more futuristic and even technical at times. It's weird, but this sounds of the earth and has a very just cool theme and vibe. There's a violin, superb female vocals, along with like the traditional growl vocals that you would get from like post metal, and some of the atmosphere kind of hints at like Cascadian black metal from time to time. It's cool that it makes me think of Alda or Panopticon in some of the quieter moments. So yeah, this is Elegy by Dead to a Dying World, and definitely recommended if you like atmospheric and heavy metal music, and if you enjoy post metal at all. Once again, cheers to Rick for turning me on to these guys. Had to pick this up when I saw it for the right price at Bucket of Blood. So that was our kind of night of collecting for that Friday. Uh, Brian, Chris, and I went back to his place to kind of like jam out and crash. Some of the highlights from that, dude. Yes. Thank you once again, Rick. What's up, Daisy? The highlight though from that night, we jammed. We finally got to some like sick metal. Not that 6 Feet Under is not sick, but come on, Demolition Hammer, Epidemic of Violence. Now that's a sick album right there. and it sounded great on the stereo setup that Chris has. I could very much hear the death metal influence in the drums, especially like the bass drums sounded massive, and yeah, great time listening to that at the end of the evening. Also, look, a Spotted Cow from New Glarus Brewing. That is a once in a lifetime kind of beer for those that know, and that's a Brian Arkham find. So cheers to Brian Arkham. Oh, this was in Meteor Gym, by the way. Who loves this Iron Monkey artwork? Look at that fucking thing. I've never seen the full artwork before, but dude, that thing was worthy of a picture. Like, look at these fucking poor saps tied to balloons over here. Chris, I will not argue with you, my friend. But yeah, that was kind of the night with these dudes. So yeah, cheers. I don't know what it is. This picture's got the craziest glare. Maybe it's just we were in the worst spot for a picture, but I'll take it. There's evidence we all hung out together and shared a burger and a beer. Cheers, guys. Oh, one last picture since Chris is in the chat. This is him repping the bone fetish. He picked this up at Meteor Gym, and it's a striking resemblance, I will say. And Chris likes Technical Ecstasy. I had to take a picture of the Technical Ecstasy poster, and this is one of the things that we jammed after the Demolition Hammer was Technical Ecstasy. It's a good album. It's a weird album, but it's a good one. Let's see. So from there, you know, I drank too much beer. I crash on a couch. Chris, thank you for your hospitality. And I wake up and there's actually a record store nearby called Reckless Records. So as soon as I could in the morning, um, I went straight to Reckless Records in I don't remember the name of the neighborhood, but I don't know, not the main one, but one of the side ones in Chicago. And I wish I had more time there because it was a phenomenal spot. I was very impressed with how big it was and the selection. Like I could have easily spent all the money for the whole trip at that one place. So it's a good thing that we did the other record stores the night before. Um, yeah, I did. I ended up spending about $40 for a good amount of CDs, like 6 CDs, but they kind of did get me. And Dave, I think Chris will have to confirm with you, but I'm assuming it's an OG poster of Technical Ecstasy because that guy had like 4 different versions of that album. So maybe Rock and Roll Doctor is not one of them, though. I will say that. But no, Reckless Records. Let me get into this real quick. I'm trying not to talk the whole time. Uh, all CDs, all well priced between the $4 and $10 range. $10 is the most I spent. Um, so first off, when I went to Chicago, it was right after Tampa from At the Gates passed away. So absolutely crushing news. It was actually as we were driving to the airport, I saw the news that the news that you know Lindbergh passed, and man, I was listening to At the Gates the whole fucking day. But one band that I've always never checked out for whatever reason, no idea why, was Dysphere, and I finally did after learning of his passing. Which it's a bummer. I wish I checked him out sooner, but at the same time, it immediately clicked with me. I'm like, man, where has this band been? I would have loved to have been into Dysphere sooner. They're just a fun hodgepodge of like hard rock, hardcore, a little bit of death metal in there. I mean, like supposedly crust, but I'm not well versed on what is crust and what isn't. So I'll take your word for it. Also, cheers, Malia. Thanks for popping in. So one of my goals of this trip was to find a Dysphere album, CD, whatever, and sure enough, Reckless Records helped me out with this $5 copy of Misanthropic Generation, and it's a romping good time, man. It's just energetic, catchy, and yeah, uh, Tampa sounds great. Tracks like, 26 Years of Nothing, 1,000 Reasons, and, Rat Race are some of my highlights from this one, but yeah, I was really happy to finally snag a copy of a Disappear CD after starting the previous thing. Uh, Poser moment, I guess, but and then I've recently been getting into the Bruce Dickinson solo stuff. I have spent the majority of my metal career not giving a shit about any of Bruce's solo albums. Shame on me again. So I'm losing a lot of cred between the Dysphere and this, but I was able to see Bruce Dickinson live earlier in the month of September, and he killed it. It was amazing, probably one of the best live performances of the year. He sounded just so amazing and so powerful in this small like venue versus the stadium that I've seen him in with Iron Maiden, and they played Flash of the Blade. But I've been trying to get all of the Bruce Dickinson solo stuff now, and thankfully, for only $4, they had Accident of Birth. So I'm not super familiar with this one yet, but I think it's one of the better ones. Definitely better than Skunk Works or Tattooed Millionaire. I actually own Tattooed Millionaire, and that is a rough one at times. So I'm still working my way through that, but yeah, no issue with Accident of Birth. Happy to have that one for the collection. And then from there, some more black metal for $5. You can't beat a Mortal CD for $5. This is Blizzard Beasts. It was a, Osmos Productions pressing. I don't know if you can see the logo down there, but super cool to just stumble into this. I've been getting into more Immortal recently, and this album is actually one of my favorites that I've really dove into. It's only like 26 minutes long, which is crazy for a full length, and it has such fast songs. You know, you're thinking you're listening to like a death grind album at times, and the intensity is almost of death grind too. But at the same time, there's these epic like black metal melodies, melodic black metal melodies that sneak in on tracks like Nebular Raven's Winter, Mountains of Might, which Mountains of might be one of my favorite Immortal songs, honestly. So I'm happy to finally have that. And then it balances out with just these like quick blasts of just feels like being hit in the face with a snowstorm. You feel frostbitten no matter what the temperature is outside after listening to tracks like Winter of the Ages and Frost Demon Storm. So yeah, Blizzard Beast was probably one of my favorite finds of the whole trip. Super ecstatic to finally have this. Um, yeah, fucking Immortal. I've really been liking this band a lot recently. They were not one of the original black metal bands for me, but they've been scratching that itch like this whole year. So I might have to start reconsidering some of my black metal rankings. And then another quick EP mention: Cynic, Carbon-Based Anatomy. So this is a newer Cynic EP. 2012 was when this came out, and I love it. I mean, Cynic's Traced in Air was a very early album for me, and this is probably the closest thing they've released that sounds like that. So the title track alone is worth the price of admission, and I mean it's only 20 minutes in total for a runtime, so you can't go wrong with Carbon Based Anatomy. It's got some weird moments, like, you can tell they're really starting to drift off into some more bizarre alien kind of vibes that they end up going with their most recent album, Ascension Codes, which I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of, but sorry, there's a cat right here. Hey, Louie. But yeah, I think this is a $4 CD, so I will happily take this for $4 and finally, continue to fill in my Cynic collection. Alrighty, getting towards the end of this stack here. This is a $1 find. I love my $1 CDs. I can't help it. I'm a goodwill hunter at its core, and for $1, I'm picking this up. This is Forgotten Horror from Finland. Melodic black metal with like a thrashy vibe to it, and this is their album, oof, The Serpent Creation. And this was 100% a blind buy. All right, one sec. I gotta get my cat. He's being a shithead. Okay, we're good. But yeah, very much melodic black metal with a thrashy level speed to it. Craven Idol kind of came to my mind, mixed with dissection, I would say. Only listen to this. He's a cat possessed. I've only listened to this twice, so not many other comments besides it's good and it's worth $1. So yeah, check out the Serpent Creation by Forgotten Horror. And then this is one of my biggest finds. I'm curious if any of you guys know or have heard of this one. Chornobog. There's the logo of the band right there. So this is a solo project from one Mr. Martin Sarkova from I think the Pacific Northwest, and this was a huge find for me. This is released on I Void Hanger Productions, which of course does not get much distribution here in the States. So the fact that I can just stumble upon this at a used record store for a used price, this was the most expensive I paid $10 for, but it it's a must buy for me because I'm never ever gonna find this again unless I hunt for it on Discogs or eBay or something. Uh, Artwork is cool as hell. It is a gatefold kind of cover. Sorry. No, let me know if you guys have heard this band at all. They are kind of tough to get into, kind of tough to categorize as well. Very much like a blend of death, black, doom, everything under the sun with avant-garde at its core. 4 tracks, an hour and 4 minutes. Not an easy listen, but an interesting listen and one that you will not forget. Um, I don't know. I would highly recommend anyone who likes the more out there kind of stuff. They're kind of tough to think of a band that's similar to them. Like I want to name like an avant-garde band like Death Spell Omega or something, but I don't think that does it justice. Um, Sorry, I'm looking them up on the archives to get some recommendations. Oh, duh. Abyssal from the UK. Ruins of Beveras is a fair comparison, but I think Ruins is a bit more atmospheric and occult black metal. Currently fighting with this cat. I actually have a snake over here, and the ball python. She's usually in her enclosure in her, like, little hide and quiet, but she's out and about and is freaking the cat out, and I don't know what he's trying to do, but I don't trust him, so, yeah. No, Chornobog is a big recommendation from tonight's stream from me. This one is one I'm kind of impressed that I found, and I'm proud I picked it up. This is why I'm ending the, Reckless Records haul with this CD right here. This is Gamma Ray's Sigh No More. I've been getting more into Gamma Ray the past couple months. It's all Marty's fault. Damn you, Marty Worm. Um, this right here is, I believe, their second album, and they're still not like full blown power metal at this point. We're talking a bit more hard rock from the 70s. Like they're a cross between the Scorpions and maybe even an 80s glam band at times. So still, like it's not often you run across a Gamma Ray CD in the wild, let alone an original pressing of one of theirs. And this is on Noise Records as well. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a Noise pressing. So pretty fucking cool. I mean, I don't know if it's like 100% up my alley, but it's still cool to own something like this. And there's a couple cool tracks on here, like Start Running, Rich and Famous is fun. So I don't know. I'm happy to own this. And one of the best album covers from the evening. I thought that was a CGI skeleton originally, but no, that's a that's like an elementary school skeleton dressed up in a top hat, puppeteering itself. So well done, guys. Well done. So there we go. That was my Reckless haul. Fun time. And that was the last CD kind of collecting that I did in Chicago. Real quick, since my cat's stealing all the thunder over here. Hey, that's Chris's cat. He's fun too. That's old Benny. So I can't let my cat hog all the attention for the whole night. So but yeah, that was the Chicago trip right there. It was a great time. Rick, great to see you. Brian, if you ever watch this, cheers, my friend. Chris, awesome to see you again. Also, thank you for putting me up for the evening and letting me drink all of your beers. Like literally, as I was leaving this guy's house, I raided his beer fridge, and I might have taken a couple for the city hike I was about to do. So, cheers, Chris. I knew Dave. Dave would appreciate that. And Dave, stick around, man. I got something that you sent me. I'm gonna show in a second. Of course, there was some VCLT involved. It wouldn't be a trip seeing, YouTube brethren without some. Brian, of course, was awesome. He hooked me up with this shirt that I'm wearing. Wake Brewing, which if any of you guys don't know, Wake Brewing are from, what does it say on the shirt? Rock Island, Illinois. And they've been riff infused since 2017. They're really like one of the big metal breweries of the US, and I've still never had a beer from there, but one of these days I'm gonna make it out to Wake because they do justice to both beer and metal. They especially love the stoner and sludgier side of things, and I'm all here for that. So, in addition to this shirt, uh, Brian hooked me up with some awesome CDs. He went to a show here like a week or two before I got there, and sent me some local bands. So this is Tentacle Grave with their debut EP, which I think literally just came out. Doesn't have the year, but I do think it came out in 2025. Self-titled, 3 tracks, like 18 minutes. Um, cheers, Rick. Oh my god. But yeah, Tentacle Grave are awesome. Great time. Oh look, I say his fucking name 3 times and he pops in the chat. Brian, we're going over your contributions, my friend. Thank you for the shirt. Awesome CD. I've been jamming this. Very much like a downtrodden sludge, but with like enough doom in there too to kind of break it up. In the last track, the White Ship kind of reminds me of Clutch, like around the self-titled era or what Transnational Speedway era. Big Clutch fan. Sick album cover, sick artwork. Tentacle Grave. I will link these like smaller bands in the description below because otherwise you're gonna have no idea who they are. And then um, Baron Air. Look at this album cover. I still don't know how I feel about this album cover. Part of me is like, oh, it's kind of clever, but the other part is, yeah, it's kind of stupid. But hey, it's all good. It's all good. Whatever works. I think it gets the message across. This is Died Down, their most recent recording, and I think Baron Air is one of the highlight discoveries of the whole trip. Like these guys are like really great songwriters and have a little extra special something on display. I was showing this earlier, Brian, but this is the split with Coke Goat and Baron Air, and I like the Baron Air side a bit better, and it's a bit more progressive and dynamic and just interesting overall. Like they do fit that ISIS trope in the Neurosis style, maybe a little bit more, and I think they're doing their own thing with it too. Like, um, Coke Goat is great, Tentacle Grave are great, but they're doing like exactly what you'd expect. Baron Air, I think, are forging their own path just a little bit. So I'm gonna start following these guys, and you know, we'll see. I'm hoping that they'll release some more in the future and on to bigger and better things. So thank you, Brian. Cheers. And then Rick kind of got me out of my comfort zone a little bit with this one right here. We got some New York hardcore, NYHC, Sub Zero, Happiness Without Peace. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't have a lot of just straight up hardcore in my collection. If I do have hardcore, it's infused with metal in some way, but this is 100% just respect, you know, New York hardcore, like the tattooed on the stomachs and everything. Like this is this checks all the boxes. Yeah, Baron Air is great. So we're at the hour mark. I probably got like 10 minutes left, but I gotta take a piss break. So cheers, guys. This is what happens when you're watching someone who drinks beer. We're listening to Lava Goat loudly in the background. Yeah, that cat wants a lot. You guys understand. I appreciate it. Yeah, Brian, I'm gonna see if I can get you some of this lava goat stuff. It's it's nice and atmospheric, while at the same time, it's still extremely heavy. They're definitely doing kind of their own thing in that barren air kind of way. So, uh, yep, dude. All right. So moving from the Sub Zero, cheers, Rick. We're on to some VCLT. Overkill Dave, are you still in the chat, my friend? He sent awesome fucking VCLT probably over the summer. It's been a bit. I haven't made a video in that long. I'm quite behind. It it sucks, but we're here now. Uh, he sent me some killer. Oh yeah, he sent me some killer thrash. Dave's awesome. Check out his channel, Heavy Metal Overkill. I'll link it in the description. And he found out that I've never heard Accuser and Don't Own Any. And guess what? Dude just sent me a couple Accuser CDs. So this is the 1994 album Reflections by this band, and this is an amazing repress. Like, Dave, I hope you still have one of these, you know, at home, because all the bells and whistles that this thing comes with is sick. Brutal Planet Records, pressed in 2022. Yeah, comes with like a trading card. Look at that. I believe these guys are a German thrash band. And they are killing it on this. This is definitely when they go a little bit on the groovier side of things. So I think you do have to enjoy what um, bands like hell. I don't want to say the Pantera word, but there is definitely some groove metal elements on this. But I don't mind it. I enjoy it, and I like it on here. What matters most to me is that the riffs are top notch, and they are. This is a great driving album for me, and definitely one that I've used a couple times since receiving it. So, an OG. I don't know, man. This, as I said, this has a trading card. Like, that's kind of hard to beat right there. And then there was another one. Goddamn, Dave sent me two. Dependent Domination. This is one of the newer albums from 2011. I might like this one a little bit more than Reflections. This this sounds like it has a bit more energy to it, and like they're going for your throat just a bit more than Reflection does. And once again, Dave has an OG copy. So cheers. And also another trading card. Gotta catch them all. Yeah. I guess, I mean, that's the thing that all these bands did, right? They veered away from their sound only to come back to it in like the modern era. And uh, for the most part, I'm thankful for that. But yeah, this album is awesome. I like the artwork. It makes me think of Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Uh, Brutal Planet Records is the label, but I don't know. Dave could probably answer that question. And then the final couple albums, as I said, I'm not going to be here all night. We're wrapping it up right now. This is from Metal Kev. I was hoping he's going to be on tonight, but maybe he's working. Dude is a common presence around the Wednesday night album club streams and stuff. And he sent me some of the locals. This guy is from Saskatchewan, Canada. which is hella cool. I have never gotten any VCLT shit from, a different country. So, eh, cool to receive something from Canada. Cheers, Kevin. Dude, thanks for thinking of me for this shit. Um, he he sent over, the Lava Goat, of course, that we're listening to, which this is the album I was gonna mainly show. Ladies from Hades. Very much just straightforward doomy sludge, but there's some more death metal elements in the vocals, and this is just an EP. So if you're gonna check out anything from Lava Goat, maybe start with these guys or with this album. But I don't know. We're listening to Lava Goat right now, so maybe check out their self-titled, which cool album cover by the way. Oh my god, look at this. I have not opened this up before. Cheers, Lava Goat. That is some artwork right there. I'm a fervor fan. Well done, guys. Well done. And then, man, Kev knows what he's doing because he sent my other favorite thing, some blistering grindcore. I really do enjoy some grind. Anything that you can kind of turn your brain off for a little bit and just be like, pummeled by. I'm all in. That goes for like sludge metal and of course grind. And he sent me, well, of course, this patch. First off, easier to read than the cassette, but this band Dead Shit Earth from Saskatchewan. He sent me their, I think, debut album, uh, Self Annihilation Prophecy. Kind of cool. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a gray swirl case. But yeah, just very much not fully grind. I think there's some more hardcore and death metal elements, so I think you could call it death grind if you wanted to. But yeah, 27 minutes, 9 songs. They're taking their time a little bit more than other grindcore acts, but this is definitely up my alley, and it's perfect for 2025. Dead Shit Earth. Look at that. All right, I think that's enough for me, man. I've been over here for just over an hour and had a blast. Talked about way too many albums. It's been a good month for buying shit and receiving shit. Thanks, guys, and cheers to all of y'all who've been in the chat. Brian, I'm happy you popped in. Um, yes, dude, Brian. Honestly, this is my first time listening to this self-titled Lava Goat. Maybe start with this because this is sick. Uh, Dave, you rock, dude. You rock. Chris, Wade. Sure, there's another one or two people. James. Thanks, guys. Popping in on a Thursday. I love it. And yeah, there are some plans for tomorrow. I'm glad you're asking, Rick. Um, so Heaven Metallurgy is taking a much needed week off. Good for them. Good for Brian. Good for no. Yeah, good for Marty. Good for Alan. And sorry, slip up there. Brian and Rick and myself and Chris, we're doing our own little thing on the Dreadful Menace channel. We're trying to get Heavy Metallurgy at 7,000 subscribers. They deserve it. And we're also talking about some autumn and fall spins and what we've been listening to in general. So, yeah, tune into that. It's going to be 9 Eastern, 8 Central tomorrow on Dreadful Minutes. But, guys, I think I'll see most of you all then, I hope. Cheers. Thanks for watching.